You know that feeling when someone shows up for you just when you need it most? That's what Uber is all about. Not just a ride or dinner at your door. It's how Uber helps you show up for the moments that matter. Because showing up can turn a tough day around or make a good one even better. Whatever it is, big or small, Uber is on the way. So you can be on yours. Uber, on our way.
It's that time of year when Portlanders dust off their kayaks, canoes, or stand-up boards and hit the water. So today on CityCast Portland, we're revisiting a conversation I had with Noah Rubin, a community organizer for the paddleboarding group SUP PDX. Noah has also been kayaking and paddling other vessels on the Willamette for over 13 years. She's sharing tips for the best routes and how to stay safe out on the river. It's Monday, June 30th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Before we get into it, let's break down the essentials for paddling on the Willamette. Now, I know it depends if you're using a kayak, a canoe, maybe even a standing board, but what are some universal gear that you think most paddlers out in the Willamette would benefit from having?
So first of all, a personal flotation device, a life vest, is a must. According to state law, you're supposed to have one on your vessel per person. I myself, I stand-up paddleboard, so I wear a vest. It's a belted one, so if I fall in the water, there's like a little latch I can open, and then it opens up. But for kayaking and canoes, I believe you should be wearing a full vest.
Right.
The second thing would be a waterproof bag to put your phone and your keys. The other thing I always tell people is to tether everything to your vessel. So if you flip over, you don't want things floating everywhere. You don't want things sinking into the water. I've once saved somebody who was trying to catch a bag that was drowning. So I also suggest don't put anything on you, like a backpack or anything that can cause you to drown, even if you have your vest on. A third is always bring water. Even if you think you're going out for a little bit, just always bring water. Always bring more water than you think you need. You can end up paddling for a lot longer than you've planned. Snacks too, always. Again, you never know. You might just want to go on a longer ride and hang out and have a snack. It's kind of obvious, but our sun is a lot stronger than we think it is. So always bring sunscreen, always wear sunscreen. Another suggestion for safety reasons is to also wear something that people can see. So bright colors. And sorry, there's so much to bring.
No, go on.
It's almost like the 10 essentials for hiking. And another thing is if you're going later in the evening, have a light. You have to have a light in your vessel once it gets dark. Have a light just in case.
Like a headlamp?
It's supposed to be a light that you can see all around. 360.
Oh.
So you can actually buy one of those inflatable lights for camping. They cost about $15 to $20, and those work great. And also, again, I always tell people to bring a little jacket or some clothes in your dry bag just in case. You never know. You might get wet. You might get cold.
Man, that's a lot of stuff.
I know. I just have everything in a to-go bag in my garage ready to go.
Oh, nice. I've only kayaked on the Willamette a handful of times. One of the most dangerous parts for me was avoiding massive wakes and getting out of the way of barges because they look like they're so slow, and then you look again and you're like, oh my God, they're right there. Do you have any safety tips for when you're out on the water? Like, what are some do's and don'ts?
I actually really like looking at the barges coming through, and a lot of us paddlers that are more experienced enjoy catching the wakes that they give, actually. So we kind of use that to go faster. But I think the main rule of the road is if you're a slower vessel, you should stay on the sides of the river. So on the banks of the river. Do not paddle in the middle of the river. Use the middle of the river only to cross the river. If you see a barge or any other boat coming towards you, wait. Just wait. You're not in a hurry to get anywhere. And if you're racing, you probably know what you're doing, so it wouldn't be a problem. And then if you see those wakes, angle your vessel into the wake. So you're going over it, not on the side of it. I think the main rule is to really not hang out in the middle of the river. I see a lot of people sometimes just hanging out, like just stopping in the middle of the river and checking it out. And I'm like, oh my God, like they don't realize nobody can see them. Especially if it's very sunny, the sun hits people in their eyes, they might not see what's going on in the middle of the river. So, and that's also why it's important to wear very visible clothes.
I also just noticed, you know, you get a map of the river and the channel keeps changing. And when I say channel, it's like the channel where all the big boats go. And that's why I was like, are they just going to stay in the center?
Yeah, they're going to stay in the center. And usually the Portland Spirit is one of the boats that always comes through, and it's going to beep. It'll let people know that it's coming through. The bigger boats are not really going to surprise you. The jet boat, though, that is one where you really have to be careful. No. And honestly, if you've never been on a jet boat, those are really fun. The real big jet boats, the Willamette jet boats that have like 30 people in them, they're so fun, but they are sneaky. So that is one that I've fallen into the water because of them. It's just part of the game. Just get out of their way, let them go.
I love a jet boat. Mm-hmm. It's a ritual that I go almost every year just because I really love going that fast, and I can't go that fast on my own. And I love like all the like Tokyo drifts on the on the water. I was trying to explain this on the show actually. I was like, and then you do like 360 spins and it's so ridiculous.
And you get all wet and soaking wet.
Then you're like learning actual things about the river, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very educational. I've actually learned a lot. And I need to go back. It's just so expensive.
So do you know, we were talking about barges and stuff. Since you're out on the river a lot more, do you happen to know if there's like a pattern, like if there's like busier days than most? Because I was out there Sunday and it was nonstop barges. And I was like, it's the Lord's Day. Go home. Like, do you have any suggestions for that?
The weekends are very busy. Parking, people, everything. If you're really worried about boats and about traffic, you just go early in the morning and go late in the evening. Most people I know hit the water at 9 a.m. on a Sunday. They don't go in the afternoon. So honestly, I don't even know what it's like in the afternoon because I just won't do that. But if you're trying to avoid that, that's how it is. The madhouse. You go early, go late.
Are there any parts of the river that are quieter, like free of jet boats?
Within the city limits, I can say that not really. Mm-hmm. St. John's is a little quieter, but you do have the bigger boats coming through there. So you have the bigger barges.
That's what I got, yeah.
So it's a little scarier in that way, but it's also kind of fun because it's a little bigger out there, so you can avoid them. Cedar Oaks Boat Ramp, which is down in, I think, West Lynn, has a little cove area that's protected, but it's very small. So if you're a beginner and you want to just kind of test out, you can go out there as well as the Clackamet out in Oregon City, another little area that's closed off. But those, they're not much of a paddle, but if you're just trying to like get out and test the waters, those are good little spots. George Rogers and Lake Oswego is another little spot. There's a lot of boat traffic there, but you can kind of avoid it in practice. And there's a nice little beach over there as well.
Do you have any other safety do's and don'ts that we didn't cover?
Honestly, one of my do's is don't be afraid to like fall into the water. If you're a kayaker, practice falling in and getting back into a kayak because kayaks are really hard to get back into. Mm-hmm. If you're a paddleboarder, honestly, that is part of the fun is falling in. Don't be afraid of the river. Like respect the river. Like it's swimmable. Even if it's dirty, just go shower after. Another big do is check the weather, check wind conditions, check any other conditions that might affect your paddling. If you're a paddleboarder, especially the wind. If it is windy and you still want to go out, paddle into the wind. So when you come back, you'll come back faster. So if you want to turn back, it's not going to be an issue. If you're paddling with the wind and then you want to turn back against the wind, it's going to be really hard coming back, and you want to make sure the coming back part is going to be easier.
All right, well, let's take a quick break here, and when we return, let's get into some trip ideas. Women in Science PDX is an all-volunteer organization that provides connection, community, and career development within STEM fields to women and other gender minorities. But you don't have to be a science professional or a student to take part, because they're open to all STEM supporters and allies who are passionate about equity and equality within STEM fields. They host fun quarterly networking mixers and monthly happy hours. They also have an online Slack channel for virtual discussions. If this sounds like something you'd like to be involved in, Women in Science PDX has volunteer positions available for all levels of time commitment. Check out their website, womeninsciencepdx.org, for more details about upcoming events and volunteering opportunities. That's womeninsciencepdx.org.
Test, check 1, 2. You know you need unique New York. You know you need unique New York. Does that sound all right? Ah, that's better. You can always tell something's missing when you get isolated results, like AI that's only right for one of your systems. Get AI that can work across your data and applications. Learn more at IBM.com. The AI built for business. IBM.
Well, now that people have a sense of what they should bring and how they should behave on the river, let's talk about some paddling routes. Like, what's a good beginner route? I don't know if it would be the same for kayakers, canoers, and stand-up boarders, or if there's like different routes for each one.
Okay, so I had mentioned George Rogers. George Rogers in Lake Oswego is a good spot to go in. You can go in there and just take whatever route you want. There's a couple of islands on either side. Like if you take a right, there's an island over there, and if you take a left, there's an island. And you could just go as far as you want to and come back. There's a lot of like houses on the river that you could check out and wish that you had enough money to own. Another one, I would say it's beginner intermediate. It really depends on the conditions, is the Ross Island Loop, which is our classic Portland paddle. You either go from Selwood River Park or from Willamette Park in Portland, not Willamette Park in Westland. And you just go around Ross Island. The backside of Ross Island actually is a no-wake zone, so you can avoid some of those wakes. But there are a lot of boats coming through this time of the year. It can be a little challenging if there's wind, but it's a really beautiful paddle, a classic Portland. You get to see the city. You can hang out at any point on the island. So if you get tired, you could just chill on the island. You can always just go back. But the whole loop itself will be about 4.5 miles, depending if you go from Selwood or Willamette Park. And I think I've maybe looped it every week for the past 10 years. More than once a week for the past 10 years. So
It takes about like an hour or so, or...
If you're paddling to work out, it should take you about an hour. If you're paddling casually, it can take 2 to 3 hours, depending.
Yeah, before I purchased my kayak, I would always rent from the Willamette location. And I remember that's the loop we would always do, of course, because it's right there. And it was super fun. So that's a good beginner route. Like, what about an intermediate level?
So have you heard of the Willamette Narrows?
No.
Oh, you have to go there. Okay, the Willamette Narrows are absolutely gorgeous. They're out in West Lynn, another Willamette Park. It is really hard to explain where you need to go. So just look at a map, like even Google Maps, and you can see where you're going from there. But you're basically paddling around a group of little islands. And it's just so beautiful there. It's very, very different. You go there and you're like, I can't believe I'm in Portland. And it's literally like 20 minutes from the city. I just suggest Googling Willamette Narrows, and then you can figure out.
I just did, and you can definitely find, it's so great. So there's this wonderful, wonderful site called WillametteWaterTrail.org.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it tells you pretty much like all the fun things you can do on the Willamette, and also does trip essentials and all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, and the Willamette Narrows, I would definitely make sure I have water. It could take a long time. You can stop and swim in some of the spots.
Nice.
And then another one, which I think is a hidden gem, and I don't know if you've been to, is Willamette Falls.
Willamette
Have
Falls.
you heard of that?
Yeah, I've actually been to it on the jet boat.
Right. The jet boat does take you there. So Willamette Falls is in Oregon City. In order to get there, you can put in, I usually put in John Storm Park, which is under construction right now, but you can still put in there. You just can't park in the parking lot. It's about a mile paddle down. There is a current going down there. So the mile actually turns into a much slower paddle than you would normally do. But once you get there, you basically see a waterfall in the river. It is just amazing. You can't really go up to the waterfall because there are some crazy currents there. But some people who enjoy messing around in currents will go in the current and mess around in it and figure out a way to get out there.
Okay. What's a challenging route on the Willamette?
So at this point, a challenging route is really like a long distance route. My favorite is to get a shuttle together, so get a few people together and basically put in by Willamette Falls or Selwood and paddle all the way to St. John's. So you could put in between 25 miles, 12 miles, basically see the entire city from the water, prepare for a full day of paddling, prepare for headwind, prepare for it to be hard. But it's pretty amazing. That's what I would call challenging at this point. Everything else is going to be the same conditions, just perhaps distance.
Nice. And to be honest, Noah, my pitch was, hey guys, I bought a kayak and I've been out a couple times and I want to know more. What if we get an expert to come talk to me? So just know this was a really, I'm hopefully helping others, but this was like a very a selfish endeavor here. So thank you for you really are helping me a lot. I'm like, oh, this is all really good stuff. Is there anything else, advice you would give to someone who is excited to explore the Willamette?
Honestly, find friends, find people. It's so easy. Go on Facebook, go on meetup.com. I know it's cheesy to say that. Nobody likes Facebook anymore, but Facebook groups is really the spot to find people to do things with. And you'll be amazed at how much you'll end up pushing yourself because you'll find new adventures to go on. And we only talked about the Willamette, but there is so much to do around here. And if you're a female identifying person, you can definitely find other females that are going if you feel uncomfortable or a little intimidating by going in a co-ed group. You can just find your people, and it's not that hard these days. And if you're shy, just push yourself a little bit and get out there and meet people, and it'll be pretty amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Noah. I really appreciate you taking the time, and maybe I'll see you out there.
Yeah, for sure. What color is your kayak?
It is a beautiful, like, construction orange, like cone.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's good. That's visible.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Noah wanted us to mention that a waterway access permit is required in Oregon for any man-powered vessel 10 feet and over. And on top of wearing life jackets when you're out on the water paddling, it's also Oregon law for a boat less than 39 feet and 4 inches long to carry like a whistle or a compressed air horn. It's also really easy to attach a whistle to a life jacket. That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with a friend, rate or leave us a review. It really does help us out. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.